It's a very positive reaction because, first of all, we need to speak about malnutrition. This is essential, not only a European problem, even not European, but it's a world problem, and it's probably world problem number one. If we have almost half of the world population in malnourishment, we need to find solutions. Well, Antenna Technology is an NGO of scientists, and we do research trying to find solutions of essential needs, low cost, for the lowest income group. That's our main activity. And the main areas are food. That's why we went on to research for spirulina, and then water, to find a system for drinkable water, and then on lightening, and on more additional anti-malaria programs, public health issues, and so on. Spirulina is a microalgae. It's a cyanobacteria. It's a bacteria, not a vegetable. And this bacteria, this cyanobacteria, it's a microalgae, has a very useful, has the best content and specifications on micronutrients. And these micronutrients, especially for children 0 to 5 years, is in the need of iron, beta-carotene, that means vitamin A, vitamin A, all the vitamins, minerals, essential amino acids. You find more than 50 micronutrients in the spirulina. Well, we hope it will have a large take-up because there's no better food for micronutrients than spirulina worldwide. The Chinese have understood that since a very long time. They declared spirulina a national food, so we can really ask ourselves, why are the institutions like UNICEF, FAO, why WHO are not giving priority to food which can be locally produced, which is extremely low cost, and can be locally organized. A message that we would like to emphasize is that malnutrition can be, we can find solutions. There are plenty of solutions. Obviously, we have to include the question of land reform. We have to include the question of water. We cannot fight malnutrition without water, without land reform, and obviously to include all the questions of micronutrients. There is less and less potential or local micronutrients production locally, and that is why spirulina has a lot of future. Yeah, as we know, children will not vote, so there is no priority for malnourishment, for child malnutrition. There is no sex appeal on malnutrition. And if children have an acute malnutrition, then the mothers will go to hospital. They will look after the child. But on mild and moderate malnutrition, which is killing by collateral diseases, more than acute malnutrition, is killing so many millions of children per year. This mild and moderate malnutrition is not visible immediately, and this is more complicated, and that's where the food quality plays the first role. I don't think so. We are expecting another 2 billion people for the next 25 years, but no doubt there is enough food. But without land reform, impossible. Without water organization, not possible. Rainwater harvesting, for instance, should be an absolute priority in all the southern countries. If we do not give a priority to research, adapted research for another 2 billion people, then we will have a lot of problems, then we cannot be, then our perspectives are very grim. Obviously, negative, very negative picture. It will create more problems, especially on the water side. And the soils have to be rehabilitated. There's a lot of work to do, especially if we take arsenic, for instance, in Bangladesh. That is primarily a soil problem. And the soil problem has to be solved scientifically also in the area of food production. The special rapporteur on the right to food, Jean Ziegler, he was asking in the General Assembly, the last General Assembly of the United Nations, a moratorium, a 5 years moratorium. That means 5 years we should first study correctly what's happening. If countries like Brazil are investing in this biofuel in a very high way and with millions of dollars, this is an absolute disaster, because obviously this will take instead of producing more food, we will produce more fuel for cars. I'm really positive if we oblige governments and multinational companies to listen to their duties. If they don't do their duties, then we cannot be positive, we cannot be optimistic if they don't do what they know they have to do. So we have to force them, we have to denounce the governments who are not acting. Both. They have to do more, they have to do it differently. They have also to act politically. I'll give you the example of the right to food issue in India, where NGOs, a human rights law network, went to court, to the Supreme Court, and got excellent judgments from the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court now is obliging the government to add money for the Indian child schemes, the child scheme for the poorest children, and with many recommendations, wants to oblige the government to increase the amount which is needed for midday meal and so on. This type of approach, which is use law and litigations, this is another way to approach things, to oblige and force government to respect the right to food.